If you've been following the ketogenic diet for a while, you've probably heard of ketosis, that fat-burning state where your body shifts from using carbs to using fat for fuel. But what happens when you go beyond that? What if your ketone levels climb well past 3.0 millimoles per liter? Is that dangerous? Or could it actually be therapeutic? Welcome to the world of hyperketosis, and this is KetoWise Living, where science meets strategy for living your best fat-fueled life. In today's video, we're diving deep, pun intended, into one of the most misunderstood and fascinating metabolic states. We'll cover what hyperketosis actually is, how it's different from ketoacidosis, the powerful benefits it may offer, the potential risks, and who should avoid it, and how to safely and intentionally enter hyperketosis if it's right for you. So if you're ready to explore the next level of fat adaptation, stick around. At its core, ketosis is a metabolic state where your body shifts from using glucose as its main energy source to using fat. Fat is broken down into compounds called ketone bodies, and the three primary ketones are beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate, and acetone. When you're in nutritional ketosis, your blood levels of beta-hydroxybutyrate typically range from 0.5 to 3.0 millimoles per liter. This is the sweet spot most people aim for. But hyperketosis refers to a deeper state, usually defined by ketone levels above 3.0 and often as high as 5 to 7 millimoles per liter, especially during extended fasting or therapeutic use. Now here's the important part. Hyperketosis is not the same thing as diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA. DKA is a dangerous and potentially life-threatening condition where ketones skyrocket, often over 10 millimoles per liter, and blood sugar levels are extremely high. It occurs mainly in people with type 1 diabetes due to a complete lack of insulin. Hyperketosis, on the other hand, happens in healthy, fat-adapted individuals. Your insulin is still functioning, your blood sugar is normal, and your body is regulating the process. It's a natural metabolic state, and under the right conditions, it can be extremely powerful. Hyperketosis may occur naturally during extended fasting, very low-carb ketogenic diets, high-fat, moderate protein protocols, and even with exogenous ketone supplements in therapeutic settings like epilepsy or Alzheimer's protocols. This deeper state is often the goal. So what happens when your ketone levels go deeper? Here are some of the most well-studied and fascinating benefits of hyperketosis. First, enhanced brain energy. Your brain can't use fat directly, but it loves ketones, especially beta-hydroxybutyrate. In fact, ketones may be a more efficient fuel source for the brain than glucose. This is why hyperketosis is often used in therapeutic contexts like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and traumatic brain injury. Second, mitochondrial efficiency. Ketones can help your mitochondria, the little energy factories in your cells, produce more ATP with less oxidative stress. This could mean more energy, better cellular repair, and even potential longevity benefits. Third, cancer and epilepsy therapy. Some studies suggest that deep ketosis can deprive certain cancer cells of glucose, potentially slowing their growth. And in epilepsy treatment, ketone levels above 4 millimoles per liter are often required to reduce seizure activity. Fourth, appetite suppression. When ketones rise, hunger hormones like ghrelin tend to drop. That's why many people on extended fasts report that they don't even feel hungry. This makes hyperketosis useful for people practicing OMAD 72-hour fasts, alternate day fasting, or fat fasting protocols. Fifth, hormonal and genetic regulation. There's early evidence that ketones may act as signaling molecules that turn on genes related to stress resistance, inflammation control, and metabolic regulation. So hyperketosis isn't just about burning fat, it's about optimizing energy at the cellular and genetic level. Of course, this isn't all upside. Hyperketosis is powerful, but like any advanced metabolic state, it comes with risks, especially when it's done carelessly or without proper monitoring. First, electrolyte imbalances. As insulin drops and ketones rise, your body tends to flush out sodium, potassium, and magnesium. If you're not staying hydrated and supplementing properly, this can lead to headaches, muscle cramps, dizziness, and fatigue. Second, blood sugar and blood pressure drops. While ketones stabilize energy for many people, others, especially those who are under-eating or over-fasting, may experience hypoglycemia, lightheadedness, or low blood pressure. Third, gastrointestinal distress. Taking too much MCT oil or exogenous ketones can cause nausea, bloating, or diarrhea. It's not uncommon, so always start low and go slow. Fourth, hormonal disruption. Women in particular, especially those with low body fat or chronic stress, may experience missed periods, thyroid slowdowns, elevated cortisol, or trouble sleeping. Fifth, rare but real, ketoacidosis risk. This is rare in non-diabetics, but if you're combining extended fasting with illness or medication like SGLT2 inhibitors, there is a small risk of euglycemic ketoacidosis. And sixth, mental and metabolic burnout. If you're using hyperketosis as a crash diet method, restricting too hard, or obsessing over ketone numbers, you might end up with anxiety, insomnia, muscle loss, or disordered eating tendencies. Let's be clear, this is not a one-size-fits-all tool. You should avoid or postpone hyperketosis if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, dealing with adrenal fatigue or chronic stress, recovering from eating disorder, underweight or malnourished, taking diabetes medications like SGLT2 inhibitors, or managing liver, kidney, or thyroid issues. If that's you, moderate ketosis or just low-carb living may be safer and more sustainable. Always talk to a practitioner if you're managing any medical condition or taking medications. Now, for those who are healthy, fat-adapted, and curious, here's how to intentionally and safely get into hyperketosis. Extended fasting, fat fasting, ultra-low-carb ketogenic diet, MCT oil, exogenous ketones, fasted exercise. Combine these with proper hydration, electrolytes, and blood ketone tracking, and you can safely explore hyperketosis when appropriate. Hyperketosis is a fascinating state. It's not inherently good or bad. It's just a tool. Used wisely, it can offer therapeutic and performance benefits that go far beyond regular keto. But if it's misused, it can backfire just as fast. So listen to your body. Start slowly. Work with a practitioner if you're using it for healing. And remember, health is the goal. Ketone numbers are just data. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more keto deep dives. Got questions about your keto journey or hyperketosis? Drop them in the comments. I read every one. And if you want more support, recipes, and advanced keto education, check out the KetoWise Hub, my blog, and my Instagram, all linked in the channel description below. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult with a licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, supplements, or lifestyle, especially if you have a pre-existing condition or are experiencing symptoms. Hyperketosis is a powerful metabolic state, but it isn't suitable for everyone. Please use this information responsibly.